Thoughts. A marriage between language and consciousness. That little voice inside your head allowing you to analyze and make decisions. These thoughts share our darkest secrets and our fondest memories. They allow us to form opinions and contemplate our actions, to reflect on the past and plan for the future. But what are thoughts? Are they even real? One could argue that they are just a figment of your imagination. It's not like they can affect the physical world around us. Or can they? Sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. These lessons we were taught as children, yet modern science is beginning to tell a much different story. To understand how powerful our thoughts are, we first need to understand the power of our brains. The human brain is the most advanced organism in our known universe. It is so complex and powerful that only the fastest of supercomputers can even come close to the capabilities of the human brain. In fact, if our brains were computers, they would process approximately 38,000 trillion instructions per second. That's 38 quadrillion bits of information all in 1 second. To date, the fastest computer released to the public can process only about 10 trillion instructions per second. It would take about 3,800 of these chips to equal one human brain. Now, the average home computer processes about 3 to 5 billion instructions per second. It would take about 10 million of these computers to equal one human brain. At any given time, our brains are receiving billions of different signals from all around our bodies. Each one of our sensory organs for sight, sound, touch, smell, and taste are always hard at work sending information to our brain. And each one has millions of nerves that gather data and send little electrical impulses to our brain. That's a lot of data. This is one of the reasons why our brains need to be so powerful. Our subconscious mind has a mere fraction of a second to sort through all of these different signals and figure out which ones are important enough to pay attention to and which ones it can ignore. Like right now, you're probably not thinking about the sleeve on your shirt touching the skin on your arm or your pants touching the skin on your leg. The nerves on your leg are sending the signal to your brain. Your brain is simply filtering out those signals until something happens that is worth paying attention to. But if, say, a dog were to bite you on the ankle, your subconscious mind would say, "Hey, this is something that's worth paying attention to. Let's alert the conscious mind to this sensation." So our subconscious mind has to sort through all of these billions of different signals to determine which ones are important enough to pay attention to and which ones can be ignored. Meanwhile, it also has to direct all the necessary functions of our organs to keep us alive and well. It has to tell our heart to keep beating and our lungs to keep breathing. It has to tell our digestive system to break down the food and distribute the nutrients throughout our body. It has to tell our body to heal the cut on the back of your hand that you may not even know that you have. And these are just a few of the many, many tasks that our brain has to do at any given moment, which is why our brain has to be so powerful. Now, with such a powerful tool in our head, why is it that our conscious mind seems so limited? The average person can only think about maybe 3 or 4 things at one time. Most people's short-term memory can only memorize a sequence of about 7 numbers. Why is there such a disconnect between our conscious and subconscious mind? We do know that it is possible to bridge this gap and access the processing power of our subconscious mind. We have seen examples of this in people known as savants. Savants are people that have seemingly superhuman brain powers. Although it is very rare, these individuals can do things like solve extremely advanced mathematical equations nearly instantly in their head, much like a human calculator. Some have extraordinary memories and can recall an incredible amount of detail. Things like the score and lineup from any major league sporting event in history, or what the weather was like on any specific day since they've been alive. unbelievably accurate photographic memories, individuals who can hear a song one time and recreate it note for note flawlessly, all from memory. These are traits of savants. Many cases involve people with autism or those who have experienced some sort of head trauma to the left side of their brain. It is believed to be the cause of the right hemisphere compensating for the damaged left hemisphere of the brain. Whatever the cause may be, it serves to provide us with a peek into what the potential of the human brain really is. Here's some food for thought. All animals on this planet have advanced biological systems that require a brain capable of handling a large amount of data. It is also very probable that this disconnect between our subconscious and conscious mind is shared amongst many life forms on this planet. Consider your pet cat or the squirrels running around in your backyard. It's very probable that their subconscious mind is capable of handling a vast amount of information far beyond that of your conscious mind. Perhaps we're just one head injury away from a lab mouse trying to take over the world. The 100th monkey experiment began in Japan in the mid-20th century. Japanese scientists were observing a species of monkey across a series of islands as they would place sweet potatoes along the shoreline for the monkeys to eat. The sweet potatoes would become covered in sand, preventing the monkeys from eating them, until one young monkey eventually discovered that she could rinse the sweet potato off in the water, washing away the sand and allowing her to eat the potato. Soon after, some of the other monkeys observed this and began rinsing the sweet potatoes off themselves. Over the course of the next 5 years, more and more of the monkeys learned to do this. Then at one point, a critical number of the monkeys had learned to wash their sweet potatoes. And then suddenly, overnight, all of the monkeys began to wash their sweet potatoes, even across the waters onto the surrounding islands and beyond. All of the other monkeys seemed to somehow innately learn how to wash their potatoes. It was like some sort of collective unconsciousness had somehow brought this information to the masses. This is what is called critical mass. It has been studied for years, and the results have been duplicated across numerous experiments. One such experiment was done on humans, where a large test group of people in England were brought in individually and shown a picture. This picture had about 101 faces hidden within the drawing, and each person was asked to pick out as many of the faces as they could find. Most of the people were only able to find maybe 5 or 6 of the faces. Next, they aired a closed-circuit television show only in Australia that showed the picture and the location of every one of these faces. They then went back to England and brought in another large test group of people to ask them once again to see how many faces they could identify in this picture. Having never before seen this picture, suddenly nearly all of the test subjects were able to identify nearly all of the 101 faces. It was as if this information had hit critical mass and was suddenly available to everybody across the species. Another study found newspaper crossword puzzle enthusiasts had a 5% higher completion rate on puzzles attempted 24 hours following the release of the newspaper, thus allowing more people to have already completed the puzzle. Some skeptics claim that the results of these experiments are inconclusive, so I do urge you to form your own opinions.